Do you ever question your positioning, where God has placed you in life? Um, the reason I'm asking this is, upon further introspection, I've realized that um, sometimes God places you in certain spaces because He knows that He also placed people who can be vital in your life should things go wrong in your life. What do I mean by this? Um, we often complain about our place of work. We keep saying that we want a better salary, we want more leave days, we want these benefits, we want this and that. But sometimes we don't realize that you have a colleague there, or we have colleagues there that you trust, right? Yes, I know people like saying don't trust your colleagues, they're not your friends, but sometimes you have that one person at that job that you would never have met had you not had that job, who is able to support you or listen to you or get you out of a rut that you're currently in. I remember personally, man, when I last year when I was going through anxiety and depression, and I felt like I was losing my mind. Going to work was so crucial for me. It helped me so much because having people come to me and asking me questions and talking to me about whatever, be it work related or just, we're just talking, they're just telling me about their lives, um, made me think less about what I was going through. Trust me, I was at a point where being in the house felt like torture. Um, Being indoors felt like torture. And when I was working from home, it would be quiet the whole day, right? And every time nighttime came, it felt like a dark cloud was over my head because I knew that I was struggling to sleep, and I would have dark thoughts at night. So I'd have panic attacks. My heart would beat very fast, and I'd have a sharp pain on my chest because I would be thinking about death and people that I've lost. And I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't sleep. I would listen to YouTube and whatever. Rain initially helped. Sounds of rain initially helped, but over time, they made things worse because I would picture myself 6 feet under, and it's raining, and nobody could hear me because I would be buried alive, and I would shout, I would scream out loud. So, um, when nighttime came, it would be hard for me to sleep, right? Then I would sleep around 4 a.m. Then I'd have to wake up at 6 or 7, quickly do whatever I have to do, then get back to work. So, I just made sure that I inform my manager that, look, I need to come back to the office. I can't make it, I'm struggling. And my manager said, sure, do that. So I came back, and the first 2 days were horrible because here and there because I would still have that feeling. But the voices in my head were not as loud because everybody else would be talking. The advantage of having an open plan is that you can still listen to people when they speak. You don't necessarily have to hear what they're saying exactly, but you can hear a voice or two. And over time, man, the voices in my head just started fading away slowly but surely. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because before you have a job, you would pray to God and say, God, please get me a job, right? Then you get the job. Then at your workplace, you meet someone or you meet people who indirectly help you when you're going through a lot. Sometimes your friends are not even able to help you because maybe they're far. Let's say you have a friend that is in KZN, or you have a friend that's at home, wherever you're from, your birthplace. So your colleagues are all you have. You might not consider them to be your friends, but they are crucial at certain moments in your life. If you get bad news that someone passed away, um, Like I said, this depends on the kind of person you are. If you're private, this doesn't apply to you. And if you don't value your colleagues in that manner, you just see them as colleagues and nothing else, then this doesn't apply to you. But I've witnessed in my own personal life, and the life of a few others, that sometimes being at the right place of work at the right time and being placed by God there, positioned by God to be at that place at that time with those specific people in that specific department has been beneficial. That's why sometimes I say that we need to remember some of the blessings that came our way, some of the prayers that God answered. Because sometimes you might think that having a certain job at a certain place was the worst decision that you ever made. But when you look at it in hindsight, forget about the salary, forget about your benefits. When you look at your psychological state, you will realize the benefits of being at that specific job, at that specific place, with those specific people, at that specific moment. So this is just a reminder that, look, sometimes God in His wisdom, in His divine wisdom, having clairvoyance, knowing, the end from the beginning and the beginning from the end, knew that the best place you could ever be, out of all the places in South Africa, or even in the world for that matter, was for you to be positioned at that specific job, in those specific years, at that specific moment, with that specific mindset that you had, so that you can have a shoulder to cry on, so that you can have people to hug you, so that you can have people to listen to what you have to say, so that you can have people who can bail you out here and there in any shape or form. So, that's why the Bible says that in all things give thanks to God. Give thanks in all things. Because there are certain things that we should be grateful for. But because of our ignorance, we do not bear those things to mind. And I think because of that, we often tend to miss the blessing that has been upon us, and we see it as a curse instead of a blessing, because we're focusing on the wrong things. Jesus said that you cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve money and God. So when you serve money, you can easily fail to realize the blessings that come with what God has answered from the certain prayers you've been begging Him to answer, be it through crying, kneeling down, or what have you. So that's what I have to say for now. Enjoy your night, guys.